Welcome to the Fantasy Football House, guys. Welcome back, Dustin. How you doing on this Monday night?
I would have been better if I would have won a little bit, but we'll get back at it next week and get a rematch, I guess.
I think that as the Monday night game goes on right now, Mr. Aaron Rodgers is looking more like the old Aaron Rodgers again here. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. We got a couple minutes left in the third, so if y'all are waking up in the morning, y'all hear this. Aaron Rodgers has come back to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
uh, so far this week looking pretty good as far as my fantasy leagues. But coming at you today with the waiver wire, your top waiver wire ads, so you can get that prepared for tomorrow, and or if you start on it tonight already, and then your fab budget if you had that system, or like what order you would put these in your waiver wire order. These guys. So we're here to give you the knowledge. Um, let's get it kicking, man, with the waiver wire ads. Top guy I got up here on the list, if you're looking at quarterback, I think is going to be Mr. Dustin Fields. Andy Dalton got a little banged up this week. It's a knee injury. They're not sure how long he's going to be out. What's your first impression about Mr. Justin Fields, Dustin?
I'm excited about him. He's one of those just straight up winners. Back when he was at the Ohio State, they just competed, and that's what I'm excited to see from him. Not to mention he's got the wheels that if he does get in trouble, he can bounce it out to the outside and possibly even run for a touchdown. So
Yeah, no, for sure. He didn't look so good coming in. He probably played about a half
that he didn't.
after. Yeah, he didn't look so great, but maybe with the full week of game planning, something the offense just around him should be pretty good. So if you're quarterback hungry out there and you need somebody, that's definitely I would think would be the top waiver ad in that category as far as quarterback this week.
Absolutely.
Also, another quarterback that's been lighting it up, Eric Carr. He's got 4 or 5 touchdowns. They're 2-0 as a team. He's got some good yardage. How are you feeling about the Las Vegas Raiders and Derek Carr?
I've said this. I think I said this on draft night and then one of the episodes too. I have some stat going around in my head that Derek Carr has the longest pass downfield percentage, and he's just like you said, he's lighting it up. I think he has close to 700-800 yards so far. Like you said, 5-6 touchdowns. It's just, I know a lot of people are down on him and stuff like that, but he's kind of like Tony Romo. Like, he looks good on paper, but nobody likes him. I like Tony Romo, but he looked like a Hall of Fame quarterback on paper. If you actually go back and look at his stats.
Another guy that I don't think we were expecting a lot from this year, at least to be fantasy friendly, would be Teddy Bridgewater, who we got here on the waiver wire ads of this week. I guess let's start this off first. Would you go Derek Carr or Teddy Bridgewater if you were trying to get a quarterback for yourself?
Oh, either one's a target I have. I would probably go Derek Carr. He is, I believe, the 8th quarterback in the league right now. Teddy Bridgewater's a little bit further down, but he's still dropping 20 to 25 points a game. He without Jared Judy, he's still doing that. So, like you said, you don't think none of us really expected it, but he turned out to be a solid quarterback. We're only through 2 weeks, but he seems to be a solid quarterback. Which one would you go for?
Yeah, I would be kind of split down the middle. I think Teddy long term would be a little bit more consistent, but he's not gonna get you a 30-plus point game like Derek Carr maybe could blow up and get those kind of games like that. I mean, we've seen Derek Carr throw for 5 touchdowns before. Um,
Absolutely.
so it just kind of depends, but I think they're matchup based. Like you could kind of, if if you had the option for who you need to play next week, you would just look at your matchup, see which one has the best matchup, and then roll them out there.
And
Um,
just throwing this out there, the Raiders have the Dolphins next week. So,
there you go. And the Dolphins' defense is pretty decent, but if the Dolphins' offense can't stay on the field so their defense can get a break,
yeah.
that was the trouble this last week where their offense didn't score a single point.
Yeah.
The last quarterback we'll talk about here is Sam Darnold, one of our other host of the show or co-host of the show, Craig, one of his favorites that he's been talking about all season. He's looked good so far. I mean, the Panthers in general, they're 2-0. Where do you put him in the pecking order of these guys I named off here as far as Fields, Derek Carr, Teddy?
I mean, I think Derek, Teddy, and Sam are going to be in a tier of their own. Justin's going to be a little bit further down just for the fact that those guys have the numbers to back it up. They're putting up consistent weeks. Sam Darnold, I think this is what the Jets originally wanted to see. But unfortunately for them, I mean, Jets can't catch a break. So I think Wilson's threw four interceptions this week?
Oh man, that game was bad. As far as his game was bad,
It was.
it just never stopped. If I had to rank them, I would, because you don't know what you would get on with Fields. He would be my number one of the QBs this week on the waiver, and Derek Carr, then Teddy Bridgewater, then Sam Darnold for me.
Okay.
Just because Fields is a wild card aspect, and he's got the legs. He'll get you points with the legs that you mentioned before, Dustin. So
See, that's exactly why he's on my lower side, is because it's his first week, but he is some people look at that and say that's what I want. He has the ability to, start a game and drop 40 points between rushing and touchdowns. So
that's just about what I was about to say. This is good for everybody to listen to this because you get one perspective of how a fantasy player thinks, and then you get another perspective of how Dustin's thinking here, which could be, exactly how another fantasy player thinks.
absolutely.
It's, so you're getting two sides here. Jumping into the running backs, Alvin Cook got a little nicked up. I think he's still going to be good to go for this next week, but this is just a reminder. Backup Alexander Madison, if he's out there, scoop him up. If you got Dalvin Cook, if you're not that fan of a handcuff, I think there's some situations where you just gotta hang up because Dalvin Cook's been in the history, not so much last year, but before that, injury prone.
Absolutely. And Madison, I mean, any other team, he would be a starter.
Exactly.
So,
Just like Pollard
yeah.
for Dallas.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess technically it's considered a handcuff. But, if there is a scenario where Cook doesn't start, Madison can drop Cook numbers. With that line they got, it's no problem. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. I think he becomes a top 20 back easily if something would happen to Cook, and maybe even top 10. Another surprise on the week was in Atlanta, Cordell Patterson, the converted wide receiver to running back here the last couple of years. Didn't get much rushing work. I think it was like 5 rushes for only like 7 or 8 yards, but he got in the end zone there, and he also caught a couple passes, and that's where he got most of his work. He was catching a bunch of passes, a bunch of design stuff for him, and he got in the end zone twice. So someone to put on the radar there, to look out for this week. What's your kind of feeling on him, Dustin?
I mean, I think we mentioned this last week. I think we even joked about it that, be sure to pick up Cordell Patterson. And especially in these PPR leagues, he's going to be huge for him. Coming from a wide receiver, his hands are fantastic.
Yeah.
So
a running back catches the ball 4 or 5 times, that could easily that gets them pretty much if they're getting any kind of yardage at all, that puts them over 10 fantasy points right there, and then if they do anything else on the ground. So my
Absolutely.
only concern is the Falcons are terrible. I mean, they're
And
not going to play. They're not
he
going to play
is
Tampa Bay
older.
every week, but
Yeah, he is
yeah.
older. So,
But if you flip it the opposite way and say, hey, they're going to be playing from behind every week, they're going to have to put up points and keep throwing, and he's going to be in the backfield. I mean, that's a tough one for this week. But hey, if you're looking for running back help, he's definitely somebody that should be out there. He's pretty much available in every league. Um,
and I think,
well,
I mean, from what I've seen with Atlanta, he's probably their wide receiver too. At least I would probably rank it, Kyle Pitts and then Cordell Patterson. So at least how they've been playing.
you're forgetting about
Riley,
Calvin Ridley.
Ridley, I haven't seen him really targeted much. I mean,
He did better. He did better game two,
yeah,
the second week. But J.D. McKissick, the Washington football team, did nothing week one. Everybody was started dropping him. So there's a chance he could still be above that 50 percentile where he might not be available in your league, but check because this dude started getting a lot of work, and now everybody's scared that they picked up Gibson, and now they're worried because now they're not getting to work. So it's been back and forth. I'll tell them what they're going to do, but McKissick's definitely a stash, definitely for PPR leagues. Do you have
absolutely.
any different feelings about it, Dustin? Or
No, I mean, especially PPR. He's even in the past he's been a PPR beast. So definitely go out, pick him up if he's available, and hopefully he'll win your league for you.
this is the last one I'm going to throw out there of the running back group. Kerryon Johnson, signed by the 49ers. The only reason I bring up his name is because all the other 49er running backs are broken. Uh, every single week, these poor guys, man, somebody ends up coming out with injuries. We already knew about Mostert from week one. He's gone for the season. Trey Sermon was active this week. He gets a concussion on his first run of the game, so he might not make it out of concussion protocol. And then Elijah Mitchell, who everybody bought up last week on the waiver wire, that was the
Right.
number one waiver wire ad. He hurt his shoulder, but he did come back in the game, but he's still going to be questionable rolling into this week. Basically, Dustin, what I'm getting to, short story long, is ain't got nobody. So carry on
Right.
Johnson it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I mean, eventually it's got to. Is Hasley? Is he
Hasty,
his good?
Hasty, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, he got hurt. I think he's more of a concern than what Elijah Mitchell is. Uh, Hasty's looking like he might not be able to play this week coming up. But Mitchell, like I said, he came back into the game. Hasty didn't.
Yeah.
So they're thinking Mitchell might be good to go, but they gotta have somebody else back there too. So and they like to spread the and hand it off to
It's
everybody.
funny. I'm on 49ers injuries, and it's just running back, running back,
Yeah,
running back.
yeah, it's crazy. It's about as bad as the Ravens situation.
Yeah.
Uh, into the wide receivers here, real quick. We're gonna run through some names. Rondell Moore, for the Arizona Cardinals, the rookie. Put on a show yesterday. Over 100 plus yards. 77 of that was on one catch, though. But the only thing I would say to kind of be weary about with him is he's still like third or fourth if you look at all the snap counts for the wide receivers. So he's just not out there a bunch, but his snaps are increasing from week one to week two. And so you should see that, as he gets more familiar with the offense being a rookie.
All right.
Did you get to see any of the highlights, Dustin, on Mr. Moore?
I mean, Moore looked fantastic. Whether that's going further, we won't know. But I mean, the good thing about Kyler Murray and that offense is they want to throw the ball. So even if he's the fifth, target, week one, he had 4 receptions for 68 yards. So they're trying to get the rookie the ball. When DeAndre Hopkins only has 6 receptions, that's not a big step, especially since they throw the ball 50, 60 times a game.
Yeah. My concern would be that Christian Kirk was the guy that balled out week one for them that everybody went chasing the waiver wire for. Now this week Christian Kirk was nowhere to be found, and now it was Rondell Moore. It's you're kind of chasing and trying to like it's going to be D Hop every week for sure, but then you're guessing at these other guys who's going to show up and be the number two for him because
Yeah,
anybody could pop off any week.
exactly. That's the bad thing about, as good as it is to have a passing offense like that, that's exactly the bad thing, is it can go to anybody. I think Max Williams jumped up there for number two in the week this week.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Max Williams. Yeah. Um, Another guy that this guy put together back to back good weeks. Tim Patrick, week one, a good stat line, got in the end zone. Week two gets in the end zone again. So, as you mentioned before, missing Jerry Judy there for the Broncos. One guy that's stepping up. I thought myself it would be KJ Hamler, but it wasn't. It's Tim Patrick. He's proved me wrong. I think it's now well, we saw what Cortland Sutton did last week. Major stat line. He put up
absolutely.
over 150 plus yards, so he's looking great. But looks like Tim Patrick is settling right in there in that number two, number three role for them. Um, what are your, he's a more consistent guy so far, to start off the year. When
Right.
looking to spend some money.
I mean, it's a good. One second, bro. Uh, it's a good feeling. Good to see too, because I think he's a bigger back or a bigger wide receiver. He's sitting at 6'4", so it gives Bridgewater, a smaller quarterback, a big target to hit. And I think that's probably the only reason why he's surpassing KJ Hamler. Hamler?
Similar. Yeah, you said it
Uh,
right.
he's only 5'9". He's probably used more in the slot, but Patrick can be used anywhere. And that 6'4" big body receiver, I think there's going to be more to come. Like you said, it's been 2 weeks in a row that he's gotten in the end zone, and when it's just him and Noah Fant, that's something to look out for.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And I forgot about Fant there too. Fant had another good week in the end zone. Do a little. See, this is what y'all are gonna get, guys, with us. See, when we're live, if y'all tune into us live, you get live breaking. Aaron Jones just scored his fourth touchdown tonight, guys.
Good Lord.
Dude is like going off, making up for week one. Like him and Rodgers, they're having a crazy game tonight. Um, Good for them. Bounce back. We saw it. We called it, guys. We were telling y'all about it. They were gonna what Green Bay did week one is not gonna be the Green Bay you were gonna see week two against Detroit. Um, Moving on to Brian Edwards, another
Now
guy from.
he didn't look
go ahead.
that well at the beginning, so it is good to see them kind of step into this role, because they didn't look very well at the beginning.
Oh yeah, no. Jumping back over to the waiver wire ads, Brian Edwards, wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, another Raider we're mentioning here, along with his quarterback David Carr earlier. Derek Carr, not his brother David. Brian Edwards, what are we thinking? Another Craig guy here that's been hyped up a lot.
I
by
mean,
him.
shoot, the Texans may want to bring back David Carr too. It's as bad as they are with quarterbacks right now.
Oh man.
Edwards, I'm buying. I mean, I think he's probably the number one guy there in Las Vegas. I say that just because I think Henry Ruggs will eventually get there, but he's just not there yet. Brian Edwards is the guy that Derek Carr goes to when he starts to get in trouble, or he's getting chased out of the pocket, or other than Waller, he is probably the number two target on that team. So you gotta love it.
Yeah, it looks like even though he hasn't put up that big game yet, the first 2 weeks of manufacturing aids to him where he's their first read and they're going to him. I mean, there's a couple touchdowns that have been close or penalties that have come back on some big plays that he's had. So um, I'm still on the fence with him. I'm not going to drop him or anything this week. I do have him in some leagues, but he could be out there. A lot of people did drop him after week 1, so be on the lookout
Right.
in case you want to add him. Um, trying to get a little quicker episode here, so we're gonna run through some of these last couple of wide receivers real quick. Zach Pascal for the Colts had another touchdown this week. He had 2 first week, one for this week. So if you're a believer there, it was pretty much Michael Pittman, and Zach Pascal there.
Yep.
Dustin, did you see anybody else that was,
I
you
mean,
know?
Jonathan Taylor looked good, but most of the time, that's not going to be a waiver ad. So if you
Yeah.
drafted Jonathan Taylor, good job.
My only concern about Zach Pascal, I'll say real quick, is his quarterback Carson Wentz sprained both his ankles. So we don't know if he's going to play next week. Inserts, where's Dustin's Carson Wentz joke? It should be coming. The dude is made of glass.
He is.
Uh,
Apparently,
glass
his
man.
ankles
That's what
are
we're gonna,
too.
yeah, we're gonna call him the glass man from now on. Yeah, so uh, getting a backup quarterback now this next week possibly. We don't know on Wentz yet, so to be determined later on the week. But if you want to take a flyer, I got Pascal last week on a waiver claim. It's worth a flyer. The Vikings, they've been putting up some points, and AJ Osborne, their third wide receiver, and we mentioned this, I think, Dustin, me and you last week, or
Yep.
me, you, and Craig at some point, that they're running more 3 wide receiver sets. Mr. Osborne is that third wide receiver. Of course, it's stealing Justin Jefferson, but now Osborne has actually outpaced Jefferson so far this year. As far as if you're looking at just at the raw numbers, I mean, we know Jefferson is a true 1 or 2 there, but um,
Absolutely.
what are you thinking about KJ Osborne? Spending some money on him to add him, or no?
I mean, if he's available, he reminds me a lot of Zach Pascal. Like, he just keeps going out there and getting in the end zone week after week. So, a player like that is going to demand volume. So it is a player that I'd probably keep an eye on it for another week. I don't think I'd pull a trigger yet, especially with Cook possibly being out. That may take a hit on the passing game, but I think I would wait one more week to kind of see how things shake
Yeah, I
out.
think KJ probably will make it one more week around the waivers, unless in some deeper leagues. He'll probably get picked up this week.
Right.
2 more guys I want to touch on here. One more wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders for the Buffalo Bills. He's 34 years old, but he's been balling. I mean, I know he had some foot issues or something coming into the season, but he's been doing all right so far these first couple weeks. Beasley, I don't think was really much of the in any of the game really yesterday. I mean, he was in the game, but he didn't really have a good stat line. It looked like it was really Sanders and Diggs. What are you thinking, Dustin, as far as the wide receivers we named so far? Where would Emmanuel Sanders fit in there?
I mean, Sanders is probably your number 2 guy. Looks like yesterday he had 2 catches for 48 yards. When you're averaging 24 yards per catch, yeah, you can't really do much wrong there. You take that and you up his catches to 5, you're over 100 yards easy.
Yeah, I think, oh man, I'm not quite sold on it yet. I want to see a little bit more, but just because he burned everybody, it felt like so much last year when he was with the Saints, but really didn't do much. I only have 1 tight end on here that we'll mention real quick to look out for. All the other tight ends that kind of did something this week, I think they're kind of still, we want to see it again. As all the other guys that did do something are already taken in leagues. Evan Ingram is coming back from injury, and it
You
looks
hear
like he
that,
might actually
Craig?
make it back. Yeah, might actually make it back this week. Now the thing about Evan Ingram is he could turn around and get injured again because he gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
He's right next to Carson Wentz as the glass man.
Yeah.
So this would be a sneaky ad. You could probably still, get him in on the cheap if you need a tight end. What's your feeling about that, Evan Ingram?
I mean, I personally don't really like it, but in an offense that, another one we could kind of add to the quarterbacks is Danny Dimes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention too. He's right on that flyer too. This week you could pick up a lot of people might be going out. His wheels. He's been running the ball a lot. That's been helping his fantasy. Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't have a ton of. I think Slayton's probably his number one target. Him and Shepard. So Ingram coming back. He easily fits in there and becomes a main share of the targets, I think.
Yeah, I think he kind of scares me I picked up Shepard in a couple of leagues last week, and then he did good again the second week.
Yep.
He kind of scares me because Evan Ingram might come in and sneak away some of those targets. But as somebody that might need a tight end in a couple of leagues, I'm definitely going to look at Ingram and bring him in. Real quick, Dustin, we just got a couple minutes left. We'll do this based on if we have $100 in our league to buy these players here. Who are you going to spend the most money on? Who are you looking at from this list we named, and how much are you willing to spend? Just give me a guy or two.
I'd probably roll the dice and take either Derek Carr or Teddy Bridgewater. Rondale Moore and Tim Patrick are probably my guys.
Okay. Between Derek Carr, you said Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater, right?
Yep.
How much are you willing to spend if you only had $100 for the entire season?
Only $100.
Yeah.
I would probably go 10 and 10. See if I could get them.
Yeah.
Rondale Moore, Tim Patrick, wide receivers. They put up a little bit more points. I would probably go, 15 a piece, maybe even 20.
Yeah, I'm a little weary I don't really like the waivers out there this week that much. Running back's always a position of need. I mean, if you can find J.D. McKissick out there, which the problem is he might not be left in more than 50% of leagues, I would take a shot on him, spend $15. Cordell Patterson, I would think I would throw $15 at him too. Kerryon Johnson, what's the price of a cheeseburger? $1, $2. Maybe a couple bucks at Kerryon, just because you don't know like what you could maybe be getting there.
Right.
Wide receivers, none of them really jump off the board at me. I already have Pascal, but if that's probably one guy I'd probably look into is Pascal, just because he's been consistent. Him or Tim Patrick, like you had mentioned. And at the same thing, I wouldn't spend more probably than $10 on them.
Right.
If I had to choose one of these quarterbacks, same boat as you, I would go after Carr or Bridgewater, and same thing, $10. I don't think there's anybody worth breaking the bank this week, guys. Right. I mean, not like Elijah Mitchell last week where we have a potential number one running back.
Right.
And people are spending, if they had $100 fab, they're spending all $100.
Yeah.
It was nuts in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, I think we have a 500, and I think our guy spent like 260 to get him, so definitely over half.
For sure. Guys, like this video, share this video. Down at the bottom, it's scrolling down here at the bottom. Follow our YouTube channel, Fantasy Football House, on Twitter at FF House Show. And Dustin, what's your Twitter handle?
Nice Guy Gaming 16.
And I'm at Playmakers with the Z88. Guys, follow us on there, and then follow us on Twitter, or follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. We're still trying to get to 50 subscribers. Get to 50. You follow us on Twitter. We're gonna give away a autograph prize to a random winner. So
give away free stuff that is signed. So
legit signed stuff. Anything else, Dustin, before we call it a night?
No, I think that's it, man. Go win your wires. Go win your league, and until next time, guys, leave your shoes at the door.
Alrighty, guys, we're out. Thank you for joining the house.